Welcome to G Health University. This is a training module developed to help you gain an understanding of various concepts you will encounter working out of GBON, Jabaco, and G Health Enterprise as a whole. This course is part 4 of the Basic Medicine series. In the last video, we explored the ACO checklist and the HIPAA section. We also introduced you to the Documents tab and went over how to create a new document. Today, we will be going over the billing process. Before we begin, we will start with a quick review. Start from the home page. Now, click on Patient Information. Access your test chart by searching last name, then first name. Now, go into the divs by pressing the chart button in the upper left-hand corner. From there, we will go to the Documents section and add a new document. To do this, press the plus sign next to the word Documents. The document we will be opening is the contact note. The code for the contact note is GB PHN note. Next, we hit Create from Master. The contact note is one of GBON's most important documents. It is made up of a series of checkboxes. The important thing to remember is that for each section, a checkbox must be clicked. The top section, the diagnosis, pre-populates from the problems div. This was covered in another video. The information garnered from the problems div will show up in the yellow box above the set of checkboxes. Click any of the checkboxes that apply to the problems div information. For this one, we will be clicking the schizophrenia box and the asthma box. Following the diagnosis is the PAM level section. PAM is covered in another video. You will select the PAM level that your member has. Following PAM is the option for preventative care screening. You can click the attached link and go to a website that will help your member figure out which preventative care screenings they may need. This might be a mammogram or a colonoscopy. The next section is the part that matches the e-super bill, which we will be covering later in this video. It is important that you select all of these boxes accurately. The first section of this is mode of contact. Did you contact a member by phone, face-to-face, or by other means? Click the corresponding box. After that, you're going to select if it was an attempt or an encounter. An encounter is if you physically spoke with the member or saw the member in person. Anything else is considered an attempt. Following that is the documentation completed. This is any documents that you may have completed with the member during this visit. If you did not complete any documents, you would select the No Documents Completed button. The next section is the target of intervention. This is whom you spoke with. If you left a voicemail or the phone was disconnected, you will select member, and then you will also select phone disconnected or left voicemail. Following that is patient education. Did you give the member patient education? This is covered in another video. Then there's the reason for your appointment. If your reason is not listed, then you would click the purple diamond. After clicking the purple diamond, you will be taken to an area where you can free text what you need to enter. When you are finished, click OK with spell check. And then click the box. The next series of boxes is the member's last encounter. This is how recently we spoke to the member. There is a code. Current means the member was spoken to this month. If it is September, then the member was spoken to in September. 30 days means the member was spoken to last month. That could be any point within the previous month. Again, if it is September, then it would be if the member was spoken to in August. 60 days is if the member was spoken to 2 months prior to today. Again, at any point in the 2-month window. So if today is in September, then it would be if the member was spoken to in July. 90 days is 3 months, following the same pattern. Over 90 days is beyond 3 months. Members that are in the over 90-day category cannot be billed. This member, because it was an encounter, is current. Moving past the top section of the contact note, there are several buttons for various to-dos, triages, documents, and referrals. You can click these and add anything that was relevant to the contact that you just made. Moving further, there is an area for the brief narrative of contact. This is a free text space where you are to enter all of the information regarding the contact that you just completed. Please don't add anything that's covered in the checkboxes, but do add things that weren't covered. Also, you should be sure to note the chronic conditions in the narrative of contact and what you did to help with them. Another thing to note is that we do not use identifying nouns or pronouns when writing contact notes. Rather than I or we, use GBON or Patient Health Navigator or your position here at GBON to describe yourself. Rather than saying the member's name, say member. Like the top half of the care plan, the bottom half is a series of checkboxes. They're geared towards your follow-up action plan. The first series of boxes is when you intend on following up with the member. If the member you're speaking with is not assigned to you, then when is the person that will be contacting them expected to speak with them? Generally, that falls in the 1 day to 1 week area. Next is if there are any mailings. How will the member be followed up with? And any documentation that is needed on this member's caseload. Following that, you will write another brief note of what is going to happen and any specifics that need to be addressed. This is what a completed contact note looks like. Please note that there is at least one checkbox clicked in every section. The narrative is filled out, and on the bottom half, the checkboxes are all answered with another narrative filled out. When you're finished, you will press the sign button. Add signature will be yes, and then press the route button. From there, you will click finalize, and then press close exit. Every document that has a signature must use the route, finalize, and close exit steps. This makes it so that nobody else can edit what you wrote later. If the member contacts you later in the same day, or you need to make an adjustment to the note, you can add an addendum by going back into the note and clicking addendum in the upper left-hand corner. This gives you a space to type up any changes that may be needed. When you're finished, press the check mark. Afterwards, press close exit. Once you have completed your contact note, you must bill for your contact regardless of whether it was an attempt or an encounter. Billing requires 2 elements. The first element is the HML billing questionnaire. It must be in the member's chart and created anew each month. Like the contact note, to get to the HML billing questionnaire, we add a document by pressing the plus sign next to documents, then search for the HML billing questionnaire. The document code is GB-HML-BIQU. You can also just search HML. Again, like the contact note, to create the document, you must click Create from Master. The document itself is easy enough to fill out. The first section is selecting the chronic illness that the member has: mental health, substance abuse, asthma, diabetes, heart disease, overweight, or HIV, or other. If you select the other option, you must also answer number 2 by clicking the blue diamond and typing in the chronic illness that the member has. The remainder of the document is completed by clicking the blue diamonds that apply to each question. For the HIV status question, if the member is positive, you would click the blue diamond and select yes or no if they are not. If you select yes, you must also answer questions A and B underneath. If the member homeless as defined by HUD categories 1 or 2, again, click the blue diamond for yes or no. If the answer is yes, then you must answer the subsequent questions. Complete this process going through to question 8. Question 8 asks about substance use disorder. In order to answer question 8 yes, they must also be able to answer that they have any of the indicators in indicator A, indicator B, and indicator C. They must have one in each category in order for this question to be answered yes. The last question is question 18, and this is simply asking if the client is younger than 21, are they in foster care? You just need to click the box for yes or no. The last part of billing is the e-superbill and the appointment. To do this, click on the appointment history div, click continue, click OK, select GBON, find the time that you would like to make your appointment. A question will pop up that says, "This is already scheduled. Would you like to overbook?" Select yes. The transition of care question will pop up. The answer to that is no. From there, you select the appointment type that is appropriate to what you were doing. We're just going to say this was a contact. And you will select arrived. Change the length of time to the amount of time you were speaking with the member. And leave yourself a brief note as to why you were contacting the member. You may get a note that says, "Not enough time available for this appointment. Do you still want to schedule?" If that happens, you would press yes. You'll say no to wanting to print out the encounter. This screen is Chart Central. We will go over this on a later video. To do the billing from this section, just right-click on the appointment you made and move down to eSuperbill. This is the eSuperbill, the last piece to the billing puzzle. As a GBON employee, you are required to do 3 parts of the eSuperbill. First, you must click the status button in the left-hand corner and make sure the status is set to PAT Seen for patient seen. Next, we're going to press the DX selection button. This will open up a separate menu from which you will select the chronic condition that you treated the member for. This should match the contact note. Our member, we dealt with schizophrenia and asthma. If the selection isn't available in the menu, just type in what you're looking for. and it will show up. If you get a separate menu, just press the OK button. Next, we'll press the CPT selection. From there, you're going to press the button that says Full on the bottom, and then we will scroll until we see Service Activities. From there, you must make sure that this information matches the contact note. So you will select for the C questions, how you contacted the member, and if it was a phone or in-person contact, you have to make sure that you select whether it was an attempt or an encounter. This should match the contact note. In the CMARC questions, the answers will generally remain the same. For question 1, the answer should be yes. It's asking if you're able to contact the member, and that's if we've ever been able to contact the member. Because they are enrolled, the answer is yes. Question 2 is asking if the member is appropriate for the health home. Again, because they are enrolled, the answer should be yes. Question 3 is the patient assessed? Again, because they are enrolled, the answer is yes. Question 4 is asking if the member is an adult or a child. Question 5 is asking if the member opted out of the health home. That answer is no. Question 6 is asking if the member has had a plan update. If you updated the member's care plan in the quarter that we are currently in, that answer is yes. If you did not, the answer is no. We will not be answering the HML questions because we covered that in the HML billing questionnaire earlier. And then for the S questions, we will be answering what kind of bill it was. If you updated the member's care plan, it's comprehensive care management. For general purposes in scheduling transportation, it's care coordination and health promotion. Comprehensive transitional care is if you assisted the member moving from one provider to another. Patient and family support is if you assisted the member's assigned family member, meaning they signed the form on the HIPAA screen saying we could contact that family member. Question 5 is referral to community support services. This is saying that you helped the member with social needs and they utilized them. Moving to the T questions is asking for who you perform the intervention with. Again, this should match the contact note. In the case that there was more than one intervention, you will select the highest grade. For GBON purposes, generally that is member. And then we will press OK when we are all finished. Please make sure that you have the answers to the questions properly inserted. This is what the completed eSuperbill looks like. When you're finished, press the check mark, and you will be done.
Thank you for watching today's video on billing. Please remember the following. Contact note and eSuperbill are done every time you contact a member. HML billing is done once a month for every member. The contact note must match the eSuperbill and vice versa. If you select yes to CMARC question 6, it will remain yes for the remainder of the quarter.